Most people don't appreciate their hair until they begin losing it. And so lots of different things can cause you to prematurely lose your hair, including stress. So get your paper and pencil out, because there's going to be a ton of information that you're going to want to write down about your hair and how to keep it healthy. Now, first of all, just to clear the air, it's a myth that you will inherit the fate of your mom's, dad's hair loss pattern. That's your maternal grandfather. Hair loss is so complex. There's many different types of hair loss. Most people are familiar with androgenic alopecia, which means you're having hair loss from the unopposed androgens like testosterone, really dihydrotestosterone, that is turning off hair growth. It causes male and female pattern hair loss. So population studies, however, have found that certain diets induce hair loss and other diets actually reduce hair loss. So people who eat more whole food plants, especially plants that are rich in phytoestrogens, can actually decrease the rate at which they're losing hair. But eating junk food and eating lots of animal meat and having poor sleep habits all can induce you to lose more hair. So really we want to try to do the opposite. It's really hard to, prove this in a randomized controlled trial because nobody's going to volunteer to lose their hair. What you eat will affect your health, and it's natural that it will affect your hair. Now, junk food is junk food. There's no justification for junk food, and you know what junk food is. Meat, though, is really debatable because some people think it's health food, other people think it's inflammatory. Well, it's actually quite inflammatory. Organization after organization all tell us to eat less meat. And when you combine junk food that's inflammatory with meat that's also inflammatory, especially excessive meat, then you have yourself like the perfect condition to shave away your health, including your hair. A big culprit in it is saturated fat, which is high in junk food and high in animal products. Now, saturated fat triggers a bunch of hormones and vascular inflammation, all to reduce blood flow. And it's really important that you preserve your blood flow because just like heart disease and strokes, it's a matter of no blood flow. And when you don't have enough blood flow, your body will naturally sacrifice the skin, choke off the blood supply of the skin to preserve the blood flow in essential organs. And this is why your hair and your skin health is the first one affected when you are struggling with your health. Just like trying to preserve our heart health or your brain health, it's important to preserve your blood flow because when there's no flow, there's no life. And just like your heart, your hair is alive. It actually has stem cells at the root that requires blood flow to bring in nutrients, to thrive, to grow, to make more protein so your hair gets longer. And when your hair stops growing, when those stem cells die, you will notice your hair is going to fall off. It may not grow back healthier. And this is why it's important to preserve your blood flow, not just for your heart and your brain, but for your hair. Now, this has been proven over and over. Medications that were used for high blood pressure, like Minoxidil or Rogaine, you've probably have heard of that. That was initially invented to lower blood pressure, and how it did that was it caused blood vessels to dilate, to get bigger. But it didn't just dilate one specific vessel, it dilated vessels everywhere, so it caused increased hair growth. But not just in the scalp, it gave people mustaches and beards. But it really just slows the rate of hair loss, and not just in the area that you want the hair to grow, right? Again, that's why it has this general overall effect. That actually was a side effect of Minoxidil. And for some people, it was a good side effect, but it also comes with other side effects. It can give some people dizziness, headaches, as well as leg swelling. And this is because when you dilate your blood vessels, sometimes things leak. And really, when it comes to drugs, our body's chemicals don't work in isolation. One chemical works in multiple different pathways, but when we design a drug, we target one pathway, and there's all these different side effects, and sometimes these side effects are tolerable, sometimes they're not tolerable. Another side effect of Minoxidil is that it stimulates your pituitary gland to make prolactin, a hormone which you may be familiar with if you've ever breastfed. It causes breast tissue to grow, and it helps basically pregnant women make breast milk. So a side effect of it is a condition called gynecomastia, in which your breast tissue enlarges. Prolactin doesn't just stimulate breast tissue, it also kind of balances dopamine. So dopamine gives you pleasure, prolactin takes it away. So some people on minoxidil have less libido. They have just less pleasure in lots of things that they do regularly in life. And this is where, medications and side effects, you gotta weigh, is it worth it? Are the risks worth the benefits? And if you could do a side effect free way, a all natural way, wouldn't that always be better? And this is where lifestyle comes in. Food and your lifestyle can significantly be a side effect free way to help you preserve the health of your skin as well as your hair. Populations who consume raw vegetables, who eat fresh herbs, who eat just a few pumpkin seeds a day actually can decrease the rate at which they lose their hair. In addition, soy products, soy milk, tofu can also support hair growth. This sounds really crazy, but it actually makes sense. These plants have phytochemicals, phytonutrients like phytoestrogens in soy products that counteract the dihydrotestosterone found naturally in your body when testosterone gets converted into dihydrotestosterone. And that's what turns off the hair growth phase of its life. So postmenopausal women struggle with this hormonal balance because women all have testosterone, but before menopause, we had high estrogen levels. After menopause, our estrogen tanks, and this is where when we take and eat soy products, things that with phytoestrogens, we can naturally help it not tank so low so quickly. It's not actually estrogen. It only affects certain receptors, and it just so happens to affect the good receptors so that we don't have the bad side effects. Now, other foods that may potentially have properties to help reduce the rate at which hair is lost are green tea, as well as other colorful natural foods that are rich in antioxidants such as resveratrol found in grapes. Now, of course, there is still a strong genetic component of hair loss, and it's unlikely that just doing one single thing is going to be your answer. Other things that aren't diet include exercising, yoga, but diet is still very important, reducing your saturated fat, reducing your salt, improving your gut health. I mean, all these things basically improve your overall health, increase your blood flow, and will reduce the rate at which you're losing hair. Blood work is really important when it comes to hair loss because a lot of things are happening invisibly. And if your hormones are out of balance, let's say your thyroid or your cortisol, this can be easily checked and can be potentially an easy fix with the help of your doctor. Other ingredients such as vitamins and minerals are also necessary for hair growth, as well as the growth of many of your cells in your body. So things like making sure your iron is adequate, especially if you're still having periods, maybe excessively heavy flows, can make you iron deficient and reduce the rate at which your hair is growing or increase your hair loss. Zinc is also another issue, especially in people who are predominantly eating vegetarian foods. Supplement is beneficial, and talk to your doctor if you have any concerns. Omega-3 fats are also essential to your health, and if you're not eating omega-3 fat foods, then that's another reason that maybe a supplement would be beneficial, or you just tank up on foods high in omega-3 fats. Selenium is another element that is important. Ketogenic dieters may lack selenium because really the highest food with selenium is Brazil nuts. And if you're selenium deficient, especially if you're growing foods in selenium deficient soil, you're not going to get this critical essential nutrient. Another crucial vitamin and really a hormone is called vitamin D. Many people are inadequate or frankly deficient. So if you are darker skinned, if you're over 65, if you see very little sunlight because you're stuck in a building or stuck in winter, you probably have low levels of vitamin D and you would benefit from supplementing. But having adequate levels is super important. So just taking supplements and not knowing what you're hitting is not necessarily a good thing. Get your vitamin D measured, Get up to 50 nanomoles per liter to ensure optimum levels for your respiratory health, your bone health, your immune health. It's just overall very good to have adequate vitamin D levels. On the flip side, toxic levels of vitamins can make you lose hair, such as high doses of vitamin A, whether you're getting it as supplements or overeating organ meat like liver. Vitamin E as a supplement is also a problem. High doses can increase bleeding and can impair thyroid hormone functions, which then impairs hair growth. Speaking of toxins, anything that increases your oxidative stress will affect your hair health. There are a number of things that cause the hair stem cells to die and to be sick. Obviously, chemicals like cancer chemotherapy agents can kill these stem cells. Cancer patients will notice that not only will they lose their hair, but they may not grow back to be the same. Now, other chemicals can be found in your food and your water. So things like seafood, processed foods, poultry meat, dairy and tap water can be contaminated with different types of heavy metals. If you live downstream of a factory, you may have toxins in the air that settle in your house, settles in your food, things that you may be drying outside. And so these chemicals can be checked in your blood, your water can be checked, and it's important that you do that. Unfortunately, there's really no easy way to detect toxins unless you have symptoms. We have to check your blood. But even though we can't control all the toxins you're exposed to, you can control and arm your body with equipment to help you detoxify. And this is where eating plenty of plants, rich, colorful, green, red, purple plants are helpful in helping and preparing your body to fight this kind of chemical warfare that's going on every day. And these plants, rich in antioxidants as well as fiber, will also power your gut microbiome to get your friends to help you to reduce that oxidative stress and to promote your hair to grow. See you in the next video.